What would you do if you knew a colleague was not doing what they said they were supposed to do? AKA leaving early, coming in late. My name is Tammy Dunnett, your leadership and communication skills coach, and today's video is a question from Nicole on my video about slacking coworkers. Let's look at the comment. Do you tell your boss when your colleague is lying about leaving an hour earlier than her expected time? She also came in an hour late. I was out of ratio. Now I'm going to make some assumptions here, Nicole, and you're going to have to fill in the blanks in the comments should you wish to. But for anybody who's dealing with something similar, you're going to find a lot of value in this topic. Now, when I first heard this, I saw lots of values coming through, as I mentioned at the very beginning. Honesty, integrity, doing the job you're hired to do. And I feel like this is less about the fact that she's leaving early and more about the conditions in which she's leaving and the impact it has on you. All right, we're going to cover 3 pieces of information because 3 is a great number. 2 feels like I don't give you enough and 4 is overwhelming. Let's go with 3. Number 1, we're going to talk about values. Number 2, we're going to talk about awareness and responsibilities. And number 3, I'm going to give you an approach that you can use with your colleague. So number 1, values. This question is rich in values. I read this and I hear 3 come right off the page. Honesty, integrity, and duty. And so Nicole, for me, what I would ask you to do is as you sit in those values, what would be honest for you? If you were to sit in integrity for yourself, what would keep you aligned with integrity? And if you think about duty, what do you see as your duty? And there's no right or wrong answer to these. It's just really for you to reflect on those values or the values that you are taking and sharing here. But really get clear on what do those values mean for me, because that is where the edge is for you with this employee. 1, because it's less about them leaving early. It's more about the values that you guys are rubbing up against and the impact. But coming back to this relationship, your problem is with this individual. That's where the conversation needs to happen. So the first thing is get clear on those values. I've named 3 that I hear, but you get to tell me if they're right, they're wrong, which ones are most prominent for you. And then ask yourself, because if it's a value that you hold, it's not just for them, it's also for you. If it's annoying you so badly that they're lying, I suspect your value is honesty. And that means if you're not honest with yourself, that's part of what the tension is right here. Because now, coming into point 2, the fact that you are aware of this situation makes you automatically a part of either the problem or the solution. So this is where I think that value of duty might be graded a little bit, because I'm sensing there is either an obligation or a preference to not talk to the individual, to maybe keep your head down, not say anything. I don't get that sense from you, but that's often what happens. But that this value of duty is being just like, it's like cheese on a grater, just shredding that value right now, because there's an internal battle about, do I say something? Do I not say something? So the values are really core here. There's a saying that there's no moment too small for integrity. Oh, and I love that saying, because what I'm hearing right now is there's no moment too small for honesty, integrity, duty. You get to decide what that looks like for you. With those values kind of creeping in from point 1 to point 2, that awareness piece puts a responsibility upon you now, which will help bolster that value of duty that I'm reading into this and help guide your actions. Now, I said you're either part of the problem or the solution. The problem is between you and this employee, so the solution must start there. I am a big advocate of interpersonal problems require interpersonal solutions, which means we're going to have a conversation. Step number 3. Lowest level conversations always. If you haven't already talked to the employee and shared the observations, the impact, the ideal outcome, this is the time to do it before you talk to the boss. Now I know it can be scary because you're thinking maybe, oh, I'm not their supervisor. Why would they listen to me? It's less about being their supervisor and having any sort of power or position to influence change and more about being human. See, the problem is when we don't have these lowest level conversations and we opt to, and I see this so much, I coach a lot of clients on this, that we opt to go to the boss and we want the boss to handle it. It's very much like running to the parent as a child and go, Mom, Dad, they're kicking sand in my face. And then we wait for the mom or the dad to come and deal with it. We're not building our capacity and we're not building the relationship. In fact, when we go to the boss first, we're eroding the trust in this relationship even further. So now those values are going to help you with the conversation. And in the conversation, I'm going to offer you a few things. Number one, grace. Where is a moment where you can just kind of step out for a second and look at the situation and say, okay, where's a place I can just give this individual a little bit of grace? Meaning, what would make somebody lie about where they are? What comes to mind, and I'm kind of pausing, hoping you got a few things to answer that, is they don't want to disappoint somebody, or they're afraid they're going to lose their job, and if they lose their job, then they can't afford their rent, and that's huge domino. Is there any other reason why somebody would lie to the boss about whether they were at work or not? If this boss is a jackbutt, a bully, they may be fearful to tell them the truth, or maybe they asked politely ahead of time for the time off because it's a really important appointment they need to attend to, and the boss said no. So they're just taking matters into their own hands. And there's a lot of reasons why somebody might lie. Not saying any of that is okay, but it just takes you out of that judgment, 100% this was wrong mentality, and gives you a place to just soften and be more exploratory. Okay? So, giving grace is essentially just saying, there might be something here I don't know that contributed to this. Now, if this is a pattern of behavior, different situation, but we're going to stick here. First time. So now I know my values: honesty, integrity, and duty. If I'm being honest with myself, I would prefer that we could resolve this. And if I am allowing my value of duty to serve me, I have a duty to talk to you first before I talk to the boss. And all of that can come out in the conversation. So here's how this might sound. We got our values. We know where we're going. We've given a little bit of grace. We've planned the conversation, how we want to say things, what we want to say, and now we're going to do it. All right? Here's how it might sound. Oh, and I'm going to make the assumption that you actually heard, observed, or witnessed something that's leading you to the conclusion that they did in fact lie. Okay? Hey employee, I noticed that the other day when the boss asked you where you were, you told him you were here, but I know that you weren't. So I'm wondering if we can talk about this, because now that I know this, I feel like I have a duty to be honest with the boss. And I want to make sure that you and I are going to be able to work together. So what's going on? Did you misrepresent the truth, or did you lie because A, you're worried that the boss is going to yell at you, or B, you just felt like you didn't have any other way but to lie so you could get to whatever you had to get to? Can you help me understand? That there is going to help open up a conversation so you can understand the other individual, and it communicates a boundary and an expectation. So if you guys can't resolve this, your next step is, I have to tell the boss. I have a duty now that I'm aware of this, that if I stay silent, I'm only part of the problem. And I really want to create a culture where we can be honest with each other and succeed. So part of that is I have to be honest with the boss that I overheard that conversation and I know that it wasn't truthful. Unless you want to talk to him first. There's not a lot of threats in that. They may take it as a threat, but it's really just saying, hey, here's my observation. Here's my value. I would rather be able to trust and rely on you, but if I can't, I need to tell the boss, and whatever he does, he does. Mystery is solved as to who told the boss. Mystery is solved as to what the intention was, and you get to create a culture that supports you. I hope this helps, Nicole. And for anybody else who's been watching, comment below, let me know. And there's a lot of other things I could add to this, but I want to keep this a bit shorter. And we'll see in the comment section if I need to do another one.